Hello dear children, welcome to Standard 9 English class. Today we are going to learn a poem named On Killing a Tree. This poem has a great significance in the present world. Constantly we are being taught, unless we take care of our environment in which we live, mankind is headed towards certain disaster. You all are familiar with the word deforestation. Because of deforestation, we are facing so many problems like the concentration of greenhouse gases, global warming, climatic change, flood, etc. This poem gives us a new perception about the preservation of environment. This poem is written by Giv Patel. Giv Patel is an Indian poet, playwright, an artist as well as a doctor by profession. His poems speak of his concern for nature and expose man's cruelty to it. In this poem, he equates human beings, trees with human beings to convey that trees should not be cut, because killing tree or destroying tree, that is as cruel as killing human beings. Now let's begin the poem. On killing a tree. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. Here, the poet says, it is not an easy task to kill a tree. Here the poet uses the word kill instead of cut. Because killing trees and cutting trees both are different. Killing, that is the total destruction of the trees. Then he says, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. Jab, which means sudden rough blow. A sudden rough blow with a knife or axe, that will not destroy a tree. Do you know why so? Let's see. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. Here, the poet says, the slow and long drawn out process by which a tree grows. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, which means it absorbs all the nutrients from the earth crust, the upper part of the earth, as well as it absorbs the other elements of nature like sunlight, air, water. So a tree takes many years to reach its size. So all these years it absorbs all these elements. Then out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves, absorbing all the elements, all the nutrients, and leaves start to sprout out from the leprous hide. Here poet uses leprous hide. It means discolored bark of the tree. Here poet compares the bark of the tree with the skin of a leprosy patient. You know leprosy, which is a skin disease. So that skin will be discolored, scaly or rough. So here the branch of a tree that is rough, discolored, but still out of it new branches, new leaves sprout out. Now let's see the next one. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. No, so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal. In this stanza, the poet says, what do people do? Say, they hack and chop. They hack, which means cut roughly. They cut the tree roughly, and sometimes they may cut into many pieces. But that is not sufficient to kill a tree. It may inflict some pain, but not enough to kill it. The bleeding bark will heal. So, when the tree is cut, from the part where it is cut, from there, sap or a kind of liquid comes out. So, that is similar to the human bleeding when they get wounded. If any part of our body gets cut, it bleeds, and few days it will be healed. Similarly, the bark of the tree, the part of the tree where it is cut, it bleeds, and after few days it will be healed. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. Then after healing, from close to the ground, from where it is cut, from there new leaves start to grow and miniature boughs with small branches, it will be turned as small branches. Then if man does not interfere, if you do not cut again the tree, then if you do not control the growth of the tree, then it will expand and it will regain its former size. Now let's move on to the exercise. Now the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. Here the poet describes how a tree to be pulled out, to be destroyed. He says so to make human beings feel that they are doing such a heinous act. See, in order to pull out the tree, it should be uprooted. The root is to be pulled out from the anchoring earth. Anchoring earth, that is the earth under which the roots of the tree are held firmly. From there, it should be pulled out. Is it asked to pull out the tree? No. So, it is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out. First, a rope to be tied around the trunk of the tree, then it should be pulled out. It can be pulled out part by part by cutting, by chopping, or it can be pulled out entirely from the earth cave. From the earth cave, it is a safe place. So the roots are very safe in the earth. So earth cave, the place inside the roots are attached securely. A baby is very safe in a mother's womb. In the same way, the roots of the tree, they are very safe in the earth. So from there, from that earth cave, it should be pulled out. And the strength of the tree exposed. The source, white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. Once the tree has been pulled out, its trunk is exposed, which is the strong part of the body, that is the root, that is exposed. Now the roots cannot function, that is exposed. Then the source, white and wet, the main source which provides strength and nourishment, that is root. The roots are white and wet. Why they are white and wet? Because the roots are hidden in the earth for many years. As a result, because of moisture and lack of sunlight, they are white and wet. Now, move on to the next exercise. Then the master of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Here, the poet describes about the last stage of the tree. Once it is pulled out. Then the matter of scorching and choking. When the roots are pulled out, then it starts to dry up because of the heat, scorching heat, because of the heat of the sun and because of the air. It starts to dry up. Then it has to undergo different processes like browning, hardening, twisting, withering. The trunk will become brown, it will become hard, then it will bend, twist, and also they will dry up. And then it is done. Now the poet concludes, it is done. It means the tree is killed. So children, here in this process, human being may win, but their victory is temporary. Ultimately, we the human beings will be the losers because we are suffering a lot because of this deforestation. Then, through this poem, the poet gives us a message that trees should not be killed. That is the duty of each and every citizen to protect our environment, our Mother Earth. We should stop cruelty to any living being. Everyone has the right to live on this earth. So children, you can also play your own part to protect your environment. So you can plant saplings in your surroundings, and also you can give awareness among other peoples about the importance of trees. So that is the end of the poem. Now let's see the figures of speech which are included in this poem. In the first stanza, we have seen poet uses leprous hide. Here, leprous hide, that is figure of speech which is used is metaphor. I hope you remember what is metaphor. It is indirect comparison between two unlike things. Here, the bark of a tree is compared with the skin of a leprosy patient. So, hidden comparison is made between the bark of a tree and the skin of a leprosy patient. So, here the figure of speech is metaphor. And next stanza also, the poet uses bleeding bark. Again, the sap coming out of the tree where it is cut, that is compared to the bleeding from the wounds in a human's body. Again, the bark of the tree is compared with the trunk of the bark of a tree is compared with the human skin of a human being. Again, comparison, hidden comparison is made. So, the figure of speech is metaphor. Then, another figure of speech, that is alliteration. The same here itself, bleeding bark. Here you know what is alliteration? That is a repetition of the consonant sounds in the nearby words. Consonant sounds in the nearby words. Here which consonant sound is repeated? B, bleeding bark. Here B sound is repeated. So here the figure of speech is alliteration. Then another third stanza, white and wet. Here also repetition of the two consonant sound. Here which sound is repeated? Wo is repeated. Wo. So here also alliteration is used. Children, I hope it is clear. Thank you.